Let me get us going here in verse 1 of Exodus 33. And the Lord said unto Moses, Depart and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, Unto thy seed will I give it. And I will send an angel before thee, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. So let me pause there. So we had scriptures talking about the Lord going before them, but he says, I will not go up in the midst of thee. So maybe when he says, I'm sending an angel, it is an angel and not the Lord himself. As they came out of Egypt, I think it was the Lord himself, but I guess they've proven, particularly with the golden calf, their attitude. But I don't know if anybody wants to chime in on that. Guess I never really caught that myself in verse 3 there. Verse 4, and when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For the Lord had said unto Moses, Say unto the children of Israel, Ye are a stiff-necked people, and I will come up into the midst of thee in a moment, and consume thee. Therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that I might know what to do unto thee. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. So I'm guessing this is the jewelry, earrings melted down into the golden calf, and they've got other ornaments. I don't know. That's the way I'm viewing it. Anybody can jump in. Verse 7, and Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that every one which sought the Lord went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp. It came to pass when Moses went out unto the tabernacle that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door and looked after Moses until he was gone into the tabernacle. And it came to pass as Moses entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle, and the Lord talked with Moses. And all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door, and all the people rose up and worshipped, every man in his tent door. And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend. And he turned again into the camp, but his servant Joshua the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. So I want to say something here about meeting at the door of the tabernacle. If you go to Job 1 verse 6, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. I'm not going to go any further than that. Chapter 2, again there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. So I think I've already searched for this before we got started. No, I was looking for something else. So let's look at this phrase, present themselves, or presented themselves in some cases. So in Deuteronomy 31:14, and the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thy days approach that thou must die. Call Joshua and present yourselves in the tabernacle of the congregation, that I may give him a charge. And Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tabernacle of the congregation. Joshua 24 verse 1, and Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and called for the elders and for their heads and for their judges and for their officers, and they presented themselves before God. Judges 20 verse 2, and all the chief of the people, even all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword. Second Chronicles 29:29, and when they made an end of an offering, the king and all that were present with him bowed themselves in worship. That one's actually different. But you've got a few examples here where the people are presenting themselves before the Lord, and particularly at the door of the tabernacle. And in Job, the angels do this up in heaven. There's a place where they meet to do that. And the heaven is likened to the tabernacle. And so I just wanted to show that comparison. Not going to make any more of it than that, but people come to meet the Lord at the tabernacle, and it says I think it said the pillar came down, the cloudy pillar descended. So is he not in the most holy place at this time? Perhaps not. But they do have people that come and talk with him. Moses, it says, spoke face to face. And I want to highlight that because we're going to get some verses at the end of this chapter that are going to make us wonder just what does that mean. So anybody, any questions or comments so far? I had a couple other people join. Silence is golden. Or you're on mute. All right, verse 12. And Moses said unto the Lord, See, thou sayest unto me, Bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight. Now therefore, I pray thee, if I have found grace in thy sight, show me now thy way, that I may know thee, that I might find grace in thy sight, and consider that this nation is thy people. And he said, My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. And he said unto him, If thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. So I think this is Moses in 15 and the Lord in verse 14. Verse 16, For wherein shall it be known here that I am thy that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? So shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. And the Lord said unto Moses, I will do this thing also that that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. And he said, I beseech thee, show me thy glory. So, my understanding of the argument so far is you said you're not going to go in the midst of us, but we're your people. Are you going to go with us or not? I'm kind of going back and forth here. Verse 19. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. And he said, Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. Okay, so before I go on to the rest of it, I thought he was already talking to him face to face, as I got highlighted up there in verse 11 still. Moses was out up on Mount Sinai in the presence of the Lord, and that's before the golden calf was made. So was he seeing him face to face or not? And I don't really have a definitive answer for you because it seems the answer is yes, but then it seems like the answer is no. Now, what some people will say is, well, he didn't see the Lord's face. He saw some kind of similitude, or maybe it's fuzzy and I can't make him out. And I just don't see the scripture for that. But I don't know if anybody wants to hazard a perspective on it.
I'm sorry, what was that statement again?
So it says in verse 20, thou cannot see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. Yet verse 11 says, And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face. So did he see him or not? Now, the way I've always explained this is you can't see God and live. Well, God's a spirit, you can't see him, but you can see his image. But I'm not real sure that's what's going on here in this chapter.
Well, then I know Ryan would probably know when the Lord and the two angels appeared before Abram.
Right. So that's going to be my other example. The Lord clearly appeared before Abraham with angels. That doesn't really matter. But
So,
yes, he
but
appeared before
Abraham
him
still,
and they talked face to face.
yeah, he still lived after he saw him.
Yes. And Jacob wrestled with a man. It's apparent that it's the Lord because he names him He basically has God in his name. That's who he's wrestled with. Hosea, I believe, says he wrestled with an angel, but you find some descriptions like that. So is it an angel or is it really the Lord? Is the Lord being referred to as an angel? So yes, now what you've had happen here is Israel has made the golden calf, and God wanted to destroy them. And we just read, it might have been right before you got on, he said that he would not be in their midst. Verse 3, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, for I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. So what's happened? He's given the law, and then he's had this issue with the people making a golden calf and being rebellious. So I'll say something's changed, but I'm not sure how what that has to do with Moses. Moses spake unto the Lord face to face, and now he says, "You can't see my face."
But he's speaking, the Lord's speaking directly to Moses in both those verses that you're reading.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it's just for Moses that he said those circumstances.
Well, it says
That's what
that
I'm
the Lord
assuming.
spoke to Moses face to face, and then it said he said to Moses, "Thou canst not see my face."
Well, he maybe he didn't want him to see him anymore. I don't know.
Possible explanation, yeah. I don't have an
God
answer. I'm just saying it,
God could foreknow that. Now I don't know if God didn't want to see him face to face because of some things in the future or just because he knew about the people or what, but
yeah, it's possible that since this event, see, when Moses saw the Lord face to face, he was up on the mount before that had happened. And it says in verse 11, as a man speaketh unto his friend. Now, Abraham's called a friend. He's a friend of God. The rest of the nation are servants. They're not
mm,
called friends.
yeah.
So it may be that he spoke with him face to face as a friend, but now with what's happened, Moses is part of the people that God will not be in the midst of now and will not be seen by. So I'm not sure. To me, it's very intriguing. It's in the same
And
chapter that you run across these, two
something
verses.
else comes to my mind too, Tom, is the transfiguration. Now, I don't know if that was just a vision
That's
or it
just
was,
a vision, but Jesus is clearly seen face to face. I mean, that's different
yeah.
now that he's come as a man, as a mortal man. All right, let me finish the chapter because you're going to see a little bit more here. Moses is asked to see his glory. So what's the difference between seeing the Lord and seeing his glory? I don't have a good answer for that either, but let me read this. Verse 21. And the Lord said, behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in the cleft of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. And I will take away mine hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen. Now, what
Yeah.
some people like to speculate is, well, you're not going to see the sun here. And I'll say, that's right. You're not going to see the sun here because the sun isn't here. There's no sun yet. The sun comes when Jesus is conceived. And somebody else might say, well, you're not going to see what the sun looks like. And I'll say, well, that's plausible, but I don't think that's the kind of thing that God's doing. So it says my glory, and Jesus is called the glory of God. And there's certainly some talk of the glory of the God entering into the temple in Ezekiel. And it may be just the fact of seeing more of the radiant aspect of who God is. And we're going to see that a little bit more in the next chapter when Moses' face glows. Yet he doesn't see, he's not allowed to see the Lord's face. So I can't appropriately explain it to where everyone would go, oh, yeah, I see. I'm not sure what the answer is. And to me, this is part of the trouble of the partial revelation of God in the Old Testament. There's not full understanding of who he is. And the scripture does it to you likewise. But I don't know if that's, a way you want to take it or not.
It sounds like your issue is you don't really know how God is speaking to everyone before he speaks to them face to face. Am I right?
Well, from what I recall, when Moses was up on the mount, the Lord spoke to him, plainly face to face. What were the words? I forget. Maybe it's not in Exodus.
Is it the burning bush?
Yeah, it's in Numbers. So here's what says in Moses. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Now this has to do with Moses, Aaron and Miriam rebelling against Moses' authority, and this is what the Lord says. Moses is called a friend in Exodus. He's faithful in all mine house, and that's the house of Israel, the people of Israel. I'll speak to him apparently and not in dark speech. So he doesn't speak to him in the way that he speaks to a prophet, which is in the verse 6. Hear my word, if there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision and will speak unto him in a dream. I won't talk to him standing there. Again, this vision is in your head and the Lord will speak to you, but you're not really seeing him. You might say you're not really hearing his voice, but it says Moses doesn't speak to him that way, just like he stood before Abraham and talked to him, kind of man to man. So the way the people heard the Lord is they said it thundered and there was, earthquake, and they're not hearing his voice. And you get the same thing in the book of John when the Father speaks to the Son from heaven, and some people say it's an angel, others say it thundered. So I think that's a magnification of what's going on back here, but evidently Moses hears him plainly, meaning he's not using symbolic language. But is he speaking through an angel? It doesn't seem to be the case, from what we read here. So I don't have an explanation that's satisfactory, I guess is the way to put it. So
Well,
some people will say he beheld the similitude of the Lord. It was the likeness of him. It wasn't really him. And I'll say, well, that kind of lines up with what we're reading here in chapter 33. So the Lord wasn't allowing himself to be seen clearly. But, well, what does that mean? I'm making it up. It's like he's wearing a disguise. I'm talking to somebody, but that's not what he looks like. Well, I don't know why would God be doing that. I can't explain it.
well, the other key thing that you brought up before too was the fact that uh, the folks recognized that the three Hebrew boys in the fire, and then one of them looked like the Son of Man. That was pretty interesting. How would they know what he looks like?
Right. So like that to me, that's first of all, that's Nebuchadnezzar that says that. And so how
Okay.
would Nebuchadnezzar know that? Nebuchadnezzar actually writes chapter 4 of Daniel because it's his experience that he's relating. And usually when God gives somebody something to say, the spirits come upon him, even though it doesn't say so. So I'm going to say, how would Nebuchadnezzar know that? Well, God would have to reveal it to him, just like Peter's told, you don't know that I'm the Son of Man unless the Father reveal it to you. Well, how's that happening? I don't know how that understanding is coming. But yes, you have in Daniel two things, appearing like the Son of Man and appearing like the Son of God. It's Nebuchadnezzar that says one like the Son of God. What's that mean? Well, the Son of God hasn't come as a baby yet. What's he going to look like? I don't know. And then in
Yeah.
the vision later in Daniel, it says one like the Son of Man. What do you mean like the Son of Man? So, you can argue those things with no, I guess, satisfactory explanation there as well. So,
I would. So it's the closest thing to match to who the Lord was in the Old Testament, basically.
well, the Lord is definitely not the Son. The Son hasn't come yet. And to say, one like the Son of Man or the Son of God, both those are references to the Son who has not come yet. But to me, there's a big distinction here. This isn't trying to get you to think it's the Son. No one really. I won't say they don't understand that at all, because Abraham is told God Himself will provide a lamb. Of course, we know the lamb is the Son of God. All right, good to wrestle with this. We all can have a kind of a opinion on what we think's going on here, but I don't know of anything that's really definitive where it's clear. And this says that this is the glory. Let me see thy glory. So on the Mount of Transfiguration, they're seeing Jesus in his glory. It's a vision, though. It's not real. He's still a mortal man when that happens. We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we go into the next chapter. All right.
Okay.
We'll just move on with nothing. Not all is resolved.